It is a cold, windy evening in Baltimore, Maryland for this divisional playoff game, exactly as it should be. The Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans getting set to go. Winner of this game goes to the AFC Championship game. And if the Texans get there, it would be the first time in franchise history. And that young man, as a rookie, C.J. Stroud, would be the man leading them to that game. And Lamar Jackson, tired of hearing about his playoff record, he is set to go. The #1 seeded Baltimore Ravens, they earned it. They've had the time off, and now they're ready to play. Welcome to the NFL Divisional Playoffs on ESPN and ABC as both teams eye a spot in the AFC Championship.
We got special people in this room. This is a special group of men, believe it.
You don't do all that all year long to waste an opportunity like we have tonight.
The divisional round is filled with moments.
It's not going to be it, bud. It can't be. We're too special.
And emotion.
Let's show them exactly who we are from the first step to the last step.
All bound together by the pounding beat of desire.
The whole world watches.
And a melody that has come to mean football.
So you've been doing it all year. Nobody plank, nobody bats an eye. All we want is opportunity.
So are they, and so are these fans, ready to pack into this stadium, M&T Bank Stadium, huddle up, and try and stay warm. This is the beginning of the divisional playoff weekend. Our game, top left. The game tonight, the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. That game on Fox. Tomorrow afternoon, you've got the Lions hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on NBC. And tomorrow night, the Kansas City Chiefs on the road for the first time with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback, taking on the Bills and Josh Allen. That game on CBS. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. My name is Joe Buck. That is the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman. We cannot wait for this game to kick off. And for the Ravens, I get the sense it's the same for them. Lamar Jackson's tired of hearing about that 1-3 record. He's got a great team around him. He's got a head coach who's been there and done it. I'm really excited to see how Lamar Jackson comes out of the gates here and plays tonight.
Yeah, I am too, because there is pressure on this Ravens team, and there is on Lamar Jackson, because the struggles that he's had in the postseason, those are real. Now, he comes into this game healthy, which is unusual from the last 2 years when he hasn't been, but he's got a lot of things in place here in Baltimore. The offensive line is outstanding. He's got the #1 run game, and he's got the best wide receiving core that he's had since he's been here in Baltimore, and probably the best defense in all of football. So expectations are high. They should be. They're the #1 team in the league, have won the most games. We'll see how they come out and play in this game today.
Now let's talk about the other side. You can't say house money. They don't want to hear about it. It's been an unbelievable year, a great turnaround for the Houston Texans, but they come into this game believing they can win this game, and that's because of a lot of things, but mainly their young quarterback, C.J. Stroud, who I know has just blown you away with how he is taken to the NFL.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. It doesn't even matter that he's a rookie, but I will say this. They are playing with house money, and it's been an extremely successful year for them, and so I do think they come into this game much looser than what Baltimore will be, and that'll be something to keep an eye on, especially early. But C.J. Stroud has been phenomenal all year, but especially in these last 2 must-win games. He's been really, really good, and if he continues to play like he has the last couple of weeks, this is going to be one great ball game, and the Houston Texans will have every opportunity to come out here with a win.
Yep, that's the matchup. The Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens getting set to go at it for our entertainment tonight. Odell Beckham Jr. and the Ravens getting set to go. C.J. Stroud, calm, cool, collected. He's a rookie and playing great. Baltimore Ravens are getting set to take the field for this divisional playoff game. Both sidelines are covered. For more on Lamar, let's go down to Lisa Salters.
Joe, it's been 20 days since Lamar Jackson played in a game, and he says he is antsy, that he cannot wait to play, partly because he knows he can't shake this narrative of playoff failures until he gets back on the field. Jackson is the favorite to win his second league MVP in 6 seasons, but the stat he's been hearing all week, 1-3, his playoff record. And in those 4 starts, he's thrown 5 interceptions and just 3 touchdowns. The Ravens missed the postseason in 2021, and Jackson was hurt when they lost in the wild card round last year. So Lamar's last playoff game was 3 years ago. But he says previous seasons are not on his mind, that this is different. He is different and wiser. We've been looking forward to this, he said, and the world is going to see how we're going to handle our business. Now over to Laura Rutledge.
Lisa, not many expected the Texans to be in the divisional round of the playoffs, but they always believed it was possible because of their quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick told us he's never seen Stroud crack on game day. The more pressure there is, the calmer C.J. is. Now, Stroud did admit to us that he does have butterflies, but he channels those nerves into, quote, hard-nosed energy. Wide receiver Nico Collins told me they feel like this atmosphere today may be different, and of course they know the stakes are higher, but they have so much faith in their quarterback because he is the total package. Despite the great play on the field, he is their unquestioned leader as a rookie. And Joe, anyone you talk to in Houston will tell you the difference maker with Stroud really is how kind he is to every single person.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable all that he's been able to handle here in year 1. He has guided the Ravens to a 10-win season. Ravens 13 wins and the #1 seed. We get set to go. It's the Ravens and the Texans coming up after the break. Beautiful picture down below as we send it to our public address announcer, Greg Davis.
Singing our national anthem, written here in Baltimore, please welcome Maryland native and The Voice Season 22 Top 8 finalist, Heredita Bastola.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We saw the 4 A-10s from the 104th Fighter Squadron of the Maryland Air National Guard. It is starting to ramp up inside this stadium. Pressure starting to mount just a few minutes away from the start of this AFC divisional matchup here in Baltimore. C.J. Stroud and the Texans look to continue their magical run.
But Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have proven all year long that they're the team to beat.
I can feel
And show me exactly who we are from the first step to the last step. Let's go!
This is for the chip. On the grind off the rip when we hit. Whole season comes down to this. Flick of the wrist, spin and twist, don't miss. We go under or over. Around you, through you, scooping and scoring. Bring it to ya. Booyah!
Stroud throws it to Collins. He's got it. Lamar Jackson sidestep the man. Touchdown Ravens. Divisional playoffs on ESPN, presented by Intuit TurboTax. Moments ago, the Houston Texans won the toss, and they want the ball. D'Amico Ryans wants to set the tone early with his rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud. Get that group out there, coordinated by Bobby Slowick and John Harbaugh. Well, he's won it all. That was back in 2012. He's in his 16th season as a head coach of the Ravens. He's taken his team to the playoffs 11 times. But he and Lamar trying to get off that 1-3 skid they've been on recently and get to the AFC Championship, which would be their first since 2012. It's cold, you know that. It's January 20th, and it is windy. And trying to figure out that wind will be these two quarterbacks and these two place kickers. Justin Tucker for the Ravens, as good as there has ever been. And Kaimi Fairbairn on the other side for the Houston Texans. There's Tucker getting set to let it fly. And glad you're with us as we start this divisional playoff weekend. Steven Sims, who's been up 3 games and back up for this playoff game, is waiting for the kick from Tucker. And talk about the wind, it knocked the ball off the tee. So if it does it again, Troy Aikman's favorite job when he was playing in the NFL, holding that ball for the kicker, will have to happen.
Nobody ever wanted me to do that job, I will say.
Sims lets it fly over his head, and here comes C.J. Stroud, the Southern California kid playing in the cold in Baltimore. He has guided his team as a rookie into the playoffs, and he's the 9th rookie in the last 25 years to start the divisional playoff game.
Yeah, and I know last week was his first playoff game, but I credit him for 2 wins, because that Week 18 game against Indianapolis, it was a must-win in order to even get in to the postseason. He was phenomenal that week, and he was outstanding last week against Cleveland.
You are watching the divisional playoffs on ESPN, presented by Intuit TurboTax. Ravens have the first points of the game. Justin Tucker able to knock it through from 53. Lamar Jackson accounted for 40 of the 41 yards on that first possession. And that 9-yard completion he threw to Bateman on 3rd and 12 was big. Got him into field goal range, and when you have Tucker on your team and you're John Harbaugh, you don't hesitate.
What a weapon Justin Tucker is in a game like this, playoff game, and with the wind swirling the way that it is.
It is a rarity What the Houston Texans have been able to accomplish with a rookie head coach and a rookie starting quarterback in the playoffs. They won last week, and they are the, since 1950, third combo. Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan and Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh back in 2008, a team that ended up in the AFC Championship game. At the National Championship game, John Harbaugh was at NRG Stadium in Houston to cheer on little brother Jim. Said, I just saw him at a moment there. He was by himself. I wanted to give him a hug, and Jim is here at the stadium today. And there's Jim sweating through this on a cold day in Baltimore between interviews, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope we see him in the NFL next year. He's going to make somebody a heck of a football coach. He's won everywhere he's been, beginning when he began his coaching career at San Diego.
The former Eagle was in to make that stop. And not only Keaton Mitchell, but they lost J.K. Dobbins to a torn Achilles week 1 against the Texans. So 2 huge pieces that are not there for this offense. But as John told us, you know, they've been through a lot of injuries over the last few years, and they just keep rolling on, and not much bothers them.
No.
Had some snow here yesterday. You can see it blanketing the city. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. We can report that the playing surface, the field, is in great condition here at M&T Bank Stadium. 3-0, third possession for the Texans, who so far through the first 2 possessions have just handed off 3 times.
Yeah, they've been.
Well, Lamar Jackson is back to work. He has reeled in tons of individual awards during his career. 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, front runner to win his 2nd MVP award. But he and the Ravens are just 1-3 in the postseason, and he is still trying to catch that elusive Lombardi Trophy. Super Bowl 58 coming up in Las Vegas, and the top-seeded Ravens trying to get their stride in this divisional game against this Texans defense.
It's time for the Arby's free classic roast beef sandwich break. Download the Arby's app and join Arby's Rewards today to get 1 free classic roast beef. Arby's, we have the meats.
Well, Lamar Jackson had runs of 23 yards and 15 yards on that drive. The 15-yarder set up the touchdown throw to Aguilar, and the Ravens jump on top 10-3. See how C.J. Stroud and the Texans try to answer with under 10 to go in the first half.
Well, you got to believe D'Amico Ryan's over on that sidelines, you know, figuring out what they're going to do to keep Lamar Jackson from scrambling and picking up the yards that he has, because that was the difference on that drive and their ability to get down the field and score that touchdown.
Welcome back to the divisional playoffs on ESPN, presented by Intuit TurboTax. 10-10 game after the 67-yard punt return by Steven Sims.
Yeah, how about that? You've got a Texans team with 7 penalties, have not been able to run the football less than 100 yards, and they knotted the game up with Steven Sims returning the punt for a touchdown.
We'll talk about tomorrow. On Sunday, before the Chiefs playoff rematch with the Bills, Patrick Mahomes goes one-on-one with Chris Berman. Plus, Dan Campbell sits down with Rex Ryan, as well as special playoff edition of You Got Mossed. Sunday NFL Countdown, a special time taking you right up to kickoff. Tune in tomorrow, 12 Eastern on ESPN. You know that punt return for the touchdown just hits hard with John Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
Who cut his teeth in the NFL as a special teams coach.
Well, you got an outdoor team playing an indoor team, and you've got to believe John Harbaugh is saying that, yes, kicking game's going to benefit them.
Hey, the NFL's divisional playoffs continue tonight with the Packers at the Niners on Fox, concluding tomorrow with the Bucs and the Lions on NBC, followed by the Chiefs at the Bills on CBS. And, of course, next Sunday, the AFC Championship game on CBS at 3 Eastern, followed by the NFC Championship game on Fox at 6:30. All games are presented by Intuit TurboTax.
Well, Joe, despite some of the offensive struggles for the Texans, there's been no panic on the sideline, but that may not be the case for Kimberly Stroud, CJ's mother, who has been in constant prayer and also communication at times with CJ. At one point, CJ looked up and said, "Love you, it's okay." But I think as parents, we can all relate to what she's going through right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I love the quote by her during the week that she said her son CJ is the most impressive person she's ever met. Coming up on the Allstate halftime, Ryan Clark's first half reaction. Adam Schefter on the NFL coaching carousel that just keeps turning and turning. Antonio Pierce has settled in with the Ravens, or with the Raiders rather. Bobby Slowick is a hot candidate. There's a 36-year-old offensive coordinator matching wits with a 36-year-old defensive coordinator in Mike McDonald of the Ravens. Both guys are high on many lists. And so we will welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and I think everything we said coming on still applies, especially on the Texans side. And we've seen little glimpses of what C.J. Stroud has been able to do. That completion on 3rd and long was impressive.
It was. It's impressive against any defense, especially one as good as what the Baltimore Ravens are. And I thought that Bobby Slowick did a nice job in terms of being able to block it up and give them a chance, because I really expected the ball would come out quick and maybe it could be a catch and run. But you know, this has been a real defensive battle for the most part. Right now, the Texans, they're in field goal range already. So C.J. Stroud knows he's got that in his hip pocket. Just got to be smart. You go in at halftime in a tie ball game, things start to get a little bit tight. You start to feel that.
Well, the rookie quarterback, the rookie head coach, they've come on the road taking on the top-seeded Ravens. Here's his night. The numbers don't blow you away, but it's a 10-10 game at the half. Ravens get the ball to start the second half. Stay tuned. Allstate halftime coming up next. Tonight's first half highlights are presented by Target. It is a cold, windy evening in Baltimore, Maryland for this divisional playoff game. Jackson has to go. Boy, when he goes, he goes. Best scrambler in the National Football League. Completed to Aguilar for the touchdown.
I don't know if people realize how good that is.
Here's Sims right up the middle. Still going. Steven Sims.
Good night.
He is gone. Touchdown, Texans. Those were our first half highlights brought to you by Target as we get set for the second half here in Baltimore. It's a 10-10 game. We'll welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. If there was pressure on Lamar Jackson coming in with a career playoff record of 1-3, has not won a home playoff game yet in his career, there's even more on him now because the Texans came to win this game tonight.
No doubt, and you begin feeling more of that pressure when things aren't going the way you want them to offensively. Early on, he was able to run, and we saw that. He's the leading rusher with 50 yards rushing in the first half. But after they scored that touchdown, there were adjustments that were made by D'Amico Ryans, and they were able to put the spy on him. They started blitzing more than they had. Really, D'Amico Ryans is not known for bringing a lot of pressure, but he started dialing up the pressures. It kept everything in the pocket, kept Lamar in the pocket. They haven't been able to run the football, so the frustration begins to mount in any game, but especially with the stakes as high as they are tonight.
A trip to the AFC Championship game on the line. Duvernay with a full head of steam. Good return to start the second half. Moments ago, Lisa Salters caught up with John Harbaugh.
John, your defense has kept their offense out of the end zone, and yet it's a tie game. What do you need to get done on this opening drive to start separating yourself?
Well, it's a nothing game, basically, a playoff game. We got to get a little something going on offense. I think we will. Keep playing hard on defense. Maybe a turnover here or there, that'd help us.
You predicted that Lamar was going to have a monster game. How do you think he's playing so far?
I think Lamar's playing great. We just keep playing. It's playoff football. We're fighting like they are. Let's see what happens.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Down as we send it down to Laura.
Well, Joe, D'Amico Ryans referencing some of the defensive adjustments that you heard Troy talking about. And he said one of the main things that he emphasized to this defense is just to hunt the quarterback. He said no matter what, everybody run toward him. Don't give him time to make any decision, whether it's throw or pass. That'll continue to be an emphasis. And, of course, we will check on the injury status down here as well.
Laura, thank you. 2nd down and 7. Welcome back to the divisional playoffs on ESPN, presented by Intuit TurboTax. Lamar Jackson accounting for 52 of the 55 yards on that touchdown drive. Took it in from 15 yards out. He's thrown for a touchdown to Aguilar. Now he's run for one. And the Ravens back on top by 7. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Second possession for the Ravens in this half. They lead by 7. Their worst starting field position is right here, right now, from the 7. With 6.5 to go in the 3rd. The Ravens have certainly struggled in the postseason in recent years. 2018 season, they lost a wild card game to the Chargers. Fell to the Titans in the 2019 divisional round after the bye. They lost in the divisional round to the Bills in 2020 after a win over Tennessee. Didn't make the playoffs in 21. And last year lost their wild card game to the Bengals with Lamar Jackson injured and Tyler Huntley the starting quarterback. First down. Time now for our electric play, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. The threat of the run.
The threat of the run. You're going to see Lamar Jackson, when he gets it, he tucks it like he's going to keep it and then pulls up and gets the ball to Isaiah Likely. Pretty good coverage there by Derek Stingley, but you know, when you've got the athleticism of Likely and his size, he just, as they call it at ESPN, he got mossed right there. That's a great job by Isaiah Likely, and they just got the distance between themselves and the Texans that they've been trying to get throughout this game, and it might be a little too much for the Houston Texans offensively.
Ravens with back-to-back touchdown drives. Crowd is fired up. The hold a little deeper for C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense. They got to get to work.
Hockey stars will shine brightest in Toronto. The 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend on ESPN and ABC.
Well, hockey weather here in Baltimore, Maryland, as we get set for the Texans trying to answer, now down 14 points. 14-point game, 13:30 left. Winner of this game goes to the AFC Championship game against either the Bills or the Chiefs. Earlier in the game, on the other end of the field, Isaiah Likely from 15 yards out. Lamar couldn't get it to him, was almost picked. Likely said, throw it up high. Now on this end of the field to our right, he did, and a touchdown was the result.
Yeah, he Likely told him, throw it up, let me moss this guy, and sure enough, that's what he did. And even with the throw that was a little bit behind, he's able to make a play on it. So
welcome back to the divisional playoffs on ESPN, presented by Intuit TurboTax. From Baltimore, Maryland, where the Ravens, the #1 seed, are leading by 14. They have a first down. Second half, they have dominated. Yard. Divisional playoff bracket. Our game top left tonight, Green Bay at San Francisco, the 7 against the 1 seed. And then tomorrow in the afternoon, it's Detroit hosting multiple playoff games for the first time in the same postseason, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then at night, it's Buffalo hosting Kansas City and Edwards. Welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. This team is starting to roll. You have that bye week. It took them a little while, but we're seeing why the Baltimore Ravens were the #1 seed.
Yeah, and I'm not totally surprised. Like I said, when you come in and you didn't play in the wild card round, you are a little uptight because you've worked so hard to get to this point. And then you got the Texans who came off the big win last week. So we saw that early in the game. But as the game wore along, especially here in this second half, we've seen what Baltimore is all about and why they've been really the best team in the AFC, maybe in the league all year long. They've beaten a lot of good football teams, a lot of good teams that made the postseason. Detroit, San Francisco, Miami. And they not only won those games, they dominated those games. This is a confident football team. They can beat you a lot of different ways. And tonight has been an excellent performance by a lot of people.
Excuse me, charge them their second timeout.
Let's look ahead to the honors and the notable offensive rookie of the year candidates. I mean, Puka was unbelievable. Even in the postseason game, the playoff game, the wild card game against Detroit, you got 2 Lions at the end with Gibbs and Laporta, but C.J. Stroud with what he did through the air, protecting the ball, leading a team, he's got to be the winner,
no question. And I don't know why we're surprised that Peyton's here. You know, the guy's everywhere, isn't he?
Yes. Down inside the 30. Take a look at our game recap brought to you by United Airlines. Nelson Aguilar with a 3-yard touchdown pass. First touchdown of the game. And then Steven Sims on the 67-yard punt return for the touchdown, tied this game at 10. But in the second half, it's been all Ravens. Their first 3 possessions all went for touchdowns. 2 on the ground by Lamar Jackson. 1 through the air to Isaiah Likely. And then, like Bo Jackson on a Monday Night Football game years ago, up the tunnel went Lamar. And now we start talking about his career in the playoffs. First 4 compared to today. This one's got to feel awfully good for number 8.
Yeah, really good. And the big one is just not turning the ball over. He was smart. He ran the football exceptionally well.
The NFL.
Yeah, their structure and the way that they do things, I mean, it is the gold standard in how they do it. And there's Steve Bisciotti, and of course it's his leadership, and then Ozzie Newsome, what he was able to do as a general manager, and now it's Eric DeCosta and the constant. Of course, we look at Ray Lewis. He was, what a pick when they took him, when they moved to Baltimore. Jonathan Ogden, he was the first round pick. He's a Hall of Fame left tackle. Their second first-round pick was Ray Lewis. He's in the Hall of Fame, and you know and then Eric DeCosta's continued to draft great players just like Ozzie Newsome did, and so they really know what they're doing. The constant in all of that has been John Harbaugh, and he loves this football team, and for good reason.
The Ravens, as they look ahead, they're going to take on either Kansas City or Buffalo next Sunday here at home. In their playoff history, 1-0 all-time against Kansas City, 0-1 against the Bills. And it will be Lamar Jackson and company. They'll be able to talk about a win here tonight and look ahead to an AFC Championship game next Sunday. 2 minutes left in this divisional matchup.
Scott Van Pelt here, getting set for the postgame on ABC and ESPN. We'll visit with Joe and Troy in the booth, one of the star players of the game as well. Back up to the toasty booth. Joe and Troy, home team going to put the finishing touches on an awfully impressive second half of football, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's been. A 43-yard try-up coming from Justin Tucker. Last time the Ravens won a divisional matchup, Joe Flacco and the Ravens took on Peyton Manning, who's in the stadium, as we mentioned. The Broncos with under a minute to play in the 4th. Ravens down by 7. Flacco found Jacoby Jones for a 70-yard touchdown to tie it. And in double overtime, Justin Tucker kicked a 47-yarder to win the game, 38-35. Their last divisional game victory went on to win that Super Bowl.
How about this? The last time that Baltimore, there's a look at our good friend Peyton Manning.
And Marshall Manning with a football in the Lamar Jackson jersey, and Jim Harbaugh, who it certainly appears will be a head coach in this league again next year. Go ahead.
I think Jim's probably trying to talk Peyton out of retirement if he gets a head job. That'd be smart. No, that the last time Baltimore hosted an AFC championship game, January of 1971. And they won that game, and then they went on to Super Bowl V and beat the Oakland Raiders. So it's been, what, 53 years since this city has hosted an AFC championship game. So you can only imagine what this place will be like. And they know they're going to have a tough opponent coming in next week, and they're going to have their hands full with whoever that might be. But the good thing for them is they get to do it right here at M&T Bank Stadium.
The Ravens are moving on to the AFC championship game. And John Harbaugh with his brother, his father, his mom, with family in attendance, gets to celebrate a return trip to the championship game for the first time since 2012. A resounding 24-point victory and 24 unanswered in the second half. The number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens await the winner of the Bills and Chiefs. Lamar Jackson has got his first home playoff win. And he and this very good Ravens team, after the rest and the bye week, cranked it up and got it rolling in the second half. Second half, 4 possessions, 4 scores for the Ravens to win by 24. And D'Amico Ryans with so much to be proud of. He and his team will head back to Texas. Let's send it down to Lisa Salters.
It's not Johnson. Thank you, Joe. Lamar just told me he's not about to take this jacket off. You're cold, right? Just tell me, Lamar, the first half seemed to be a little bit of a struggle offensively. What changed coming out of the locker room?
You know, we studied those guys like no tomorrow. You know, we had the bye week, but we still stayed locked in and focused. And I just believe just because, we haven't been in a game atmosphere in a week, and it just started off slow first half, but second half, we dialed up and we started connecting.
I know that you said that you didn't really care about what happened in past playoffs, but how good did it feel to quiet the noise, to have the performance that you had tonight? 2 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns. How good did that feel?
I mean, this is just, the first playoff. We got past, finally in the AFC Championship, so still got more work to do.
You said that this group feels different, that you feel different, wiser. How did this playoff game feel different to you tonight?
Different guys.
My MVP. How did this playoff game feel different to you?
We got a great group of guys around us. Guys out there and a lot more vets, I just feel like it's a different team, different atmosphere, and different guys. We just working together, and it's working out fine for us.
And the defense kept them out of the end zone all night. So while the offense was finding its way, how was the defense able to pick you guys up?
Man, they motivate us to go put points on the board. They stopping the opposing team, a very good team, led by a great quarterback. Our defense just, they sometimes they get us, and then sometimes we get them, to get our momentum going, and it was them tonight.
Lamar, next week will be your very first AFC Championship game. I know we don't know who you're going to face yet, but what are you looking forward to most?
Playing in it. Just playing. Just getting out there on that field, and we're going to go from there.
Good luck to you the rest of the way.
Appreciate you, Miss Lisa.
Lamar Jackson, plenty to celebrate tonight. This city had a number 1 seed on their hands, a record of 13-4 during the regular season, best record in the league. And they showed up and showed out tonight. Thank you for watching this season of the NFL on ESPN and ABC. C.J. Stroud and the Texans go home. The Ravens stay home to take on the winner of the Chiefs and the Bills. On behalf of Steve Ackles, Derek Mobley, Lisa Salters, Laura Rutledge, Troy Aikman, and our entire Monday Night Football crew, Joe Buck, good night from Baltimore.
What's Lamar Jackson looking forward to most about next week's championship game? Playing in it. Baltimore has punched its ticket. They move on. For Houston, a foundational season, certainly, as they establish a new narrative about who and what they are. Their season comes to a close here in Baltimore. We'll visit with Joe and Troy, one of the stars in the game, as the postgame continues in 3 minutes.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.